Arsenal win 4-0 over Ipswich Town. Just an absolutely dominant performance from the side. Leandro Trossard, of course, with 2 goals. Gabriel Martinelli with a goal off of a beautiful Mikel Merino assist. And Ethan Nwaneri just adding to his tally. The kid is completely inevitable. And you saw it by the way he celebrated that goal. You'd think an 18-year-old still, every goal you score in the Premier League is like a dream come true, but he is just adjusted to this being his new normal. And I would also add with Ethan Nwaneri, he's a competitive kid. He's quiet, he's humble, but he's competitive. And I think all the talk about Miles Lewis-Skelly being the one who broke in this year and has been the difference maker, has been such a key part of Arsenal's side, I think Ethan Nwaneri is ready to show a lot of people that he is not a slouch himself. And that as great as Miles is, Ethan is also staking his claim in this Arsenal side, and he's not going to act like he's some charity case. And I think it's for the best. These two have had a competitive, friendly relationship their entire lives, working their way through Arsenal's academy. Ethan often talked about as the better prospect, but now you're seeing that kind of flip of the switch with the way that the media, the way that fans, the way that people around the world are talking about Miles. And I think Ethan, for better, has a little something to prove. But back to that performance from Ipswich against Ipswich Town, and it was just an easy 4-0 win, never any stress. It felt like what Arsenal used to feel like the last couple of years when we played sides like this. We just walked through them, no fight against us, no worry at any single time. And of course, that red card was just a brutal tackle by Leif Davis on Bukayo Saka. I think we got away with one with the fact that Saka didn't have a horrible, horrible injury. He was able to continue on and play another 30 or so minutes in that match because, you know, we've seen it with the likes of Abu Diaby, Aaron Ramsey. Those kinds of tackles can be career-changing, altering, potentially ending. And we didn't have that with Bukayo Saka in this match. And although Bukayo Saka did not score or assist, even though that Trossard goal is not a Saka assist, it really was a Saka assist. But Bukayo Saka, just what he adds to this side, I spoke a lot about it after the performance against Real Madrid with just his ability to hold up the ball, to turn defenders, to drive forward, all those types of things. But today showed what he can do against sides that are not the level of Real Madrid, just being so untouchable, using his pace to get to the byline, cutting inside, creating goals, he could add 5 goals today. Saka wasn't on his best shooting form, and I think he hasn't really had that many goal-scoring opportunities since coming back. Obviously, that great goal against Real Madrid, but as the game comes back to him after being out for so long, he'll score those. But he could have had a hat-trick in a matter of 10 minutes easily with so many good opportunities, so close a couple of times in great positions and not scoring. But Bukayo Saka is far and away our most important player. I have it on good authority that contract is all but signed for him to become Arsenal's highest paid player, which he deserves to be. He may not be the club captain, but he is this club's leader. He is the face of the franchise. He is the face of Arsenal Football Club and has been during this entire rebuilding project. Not only is he the face of the club, but he's also the player that the likes of Ethan and Miles and Max Dowman are going to look up to as their Hale-End star, their Hale-End role model, because of everything he has taken on in the Arsenal shirt, taken on this rebuild, taken on the doldrums that Arsenal were in through much of the last few years and take them to this point where they're in a Champions League semifinal. They're going to come in second place for the 3rd consecutive season in the Premier League, challenging every single year and potentially lift the Champions League trophy this year. And we don't do any of that without Bukayo Saka. And there's so much talk about all the injuries Arsenal had where I think it's like those injuries were almost irrelevant because of how important Saka is and how much we missed his ability to just change games every time he touches the ball. And we don't have many players like that, which is crazy to say because I think we are truly a top 3 team in the world. We don't have that many players who every time they touch the ball completely change the game. And I think that's what this summer is going to be all about, is adding those players to the squad. But Bukayo Saka certainly is the one and only that we can count on week in and week out, never puts in a bad performance. And today was the classic Bukayo Saka, 0 goals, 0 assists, best player on the pitch kind of performance. And we really miss those more than anything. And speaking of being one of the best players on the pitch, Mikel Merino, I think it was weird time with him moving to number 9 around February when all these injuries happened, but I think we may have all just overreacted to Mikel Merino because he has settled in and has been spectacular in the last 3 months. Every time he's played, whether it's been in midfield or at striker, he was so good today. That little backheel assist to Gabriel Martinelli was just a touch of class. But just in general, this was the player that we signed to come play next to Declan Rice in Arsenal's midfield, and he showed that today in a lot of his classiest ways. Just so calm in possession. We know about the dual winning, but a great range of passing, really able to crash the box and get involved and add goals, add assists, play off the striker if he needs to, drop deeper, do all the things that we've seen him do for Real Sociedad, for Spain at the Euros this summer where he was so successful. And I think we forget sometimes that even a player like Mikel Merino, who has done it at the highest level, for his country, who has played for a very solid club team and played in Europe and been very good, there's still an adaptation to coming to the Premier League. We've seen it with every single player really ever to come to the Premier League. Very few hit the ground running and are just off to the races forever. And Mikel Merino, now that he has settled in, I think he just needed the time. Remember, he came in first training, out for 8 weeks. It wasn't just a matter of him not being ready to play in the Premier League. He had to get into the squad, into the system, learn a whole new thing, then learn a new position, then learn another position, just going all over the place. He has now finally settled in. He's become one of our most important players on the pitch. Every time he's out there, we're a different team with Mikel Merino on the pitch. And he's also, the way Mikel Arteta set up the side today was the way we may see him do it against PSG in the Champions League. Of course, it won't be Zinchenko at left back. It'll be Miles Lewis-Skelly. It won't be Ben White. But in terms of Merino in the midfield and Trossard at striker, I think Arteta wanted to see if we're able to play like that and still be as dominant as we were against Real Madrid. Because, again, we love Miles Lewis-Skelly. Everybody loves Miles Lewis-Skelly. I have no doubt of Miles Lewis-Skelly's ability to play in midfield against PSG. I'm all for it. But being realistic, the Arteta we know is not going to throw Miles Lewis-Skelly first midfield start in the Champions League semifinal. And I think Mikel Merino is going to drop back into midfield because of that Thomas Partey suspension. I think Trossard is going to be up top. That's just a realistic situation. And Mikel Merino can still have a great impact from that position. And guess what? 45 minutes, 60 minutes in, if it's not working, Arteta will make the switch. It's not going to cost us the tie by him doing that. I think he'd be really hesitant to go out there and put Miles Lewis-Skelly in midfield for the first time as an Arsenal first-team player from the start against PSG. I think the way Mikel Merino has performed, the way he has changed the way we played, and the way we played today will all move towards Trossard at striker against PSG. And, of course, striker being the hot topic of every single day here on Arsenal Report and every day as an Arsenal fan. Ollie Watkins, it seems clear that Ollie Watkins is leaving Aston Villa this summer. It appears that he is no longer part of Unai Emery's project. They have moved past him for whatever reason they believe so. And I've seen this question posed a lot today on Twitter. Would you rather spend £40 million on Ollie Watkins, keep that huge transfer budget, go out and really make the squad super strong in other positions, maybe splash that big amount on a left winger, or go get Isak for $150 million? And obviously this is a hypothetical. I think if Newcastle go Champions League, there's no chance at Isak. But it's a conversation worth having. I would say still fall on the side of $150 million for Isak because that's the future. That's everything. That's a project-defining player. You have a front three of Isak, Saka, and Ethan, and Max. Some combination of that moving forward for the next 5 to 8 years. That's a life-changing signing. But Ollie Watkins, I really wanted Ollie Watkins in January, no matter what he costs. He is a Premier League proven goal scorer. He is a transitional monster. He can drop in. He can play vertically. He can do everything we need him to do. And for a Premier League proven player whose wages won't be crazy insane, for that price is a no-brainer if it comes to that, because I think we're going to be the number one suitors for him. He's a boyhood Arsenal fan. It would mean the world to him to play for us. And I think he's okay to be splitting time with Kai Havertz the way Kai Havertz would be okay with it. I think the two of them would be just fine with it, and I think the two of them could play well together. Say we're chasing a match, Kai playing as that second striker off of Ollie a little bit. I could see that working really well as well. I like Ollie Watkins a lot. I think he's going to be a rumor that is not going away, and a very good chance that he suits up for Arsenal at some point next year. Thanks so much for watching Arsenal Report. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Give us a like. Give us a comment. Anything you want me to talk about, transfer rumors, analysis, tactics, anything it might be. We'll be back tomorrow again with Arsenal Report. Hit that subscribe button, and thanks so much for watching.